Welcome. In this video we're looking at market share in 2016 and potential market share by 2020. Let's first start with 2016. Okay, this is a spreadsheet that assesses the price of houses, villas to rent. For instance, we change this price at the top left. If we look here at holiday homes, where it says the mid-season price is 5,000 rands per night, we change this to 5,000 and it automatically recalculates all the different prices and occupancy based on these percentages, which creates total commission at 25% of the value of the booking at 200,625, and you can see that here, and here we see total market share being the commission made from one times the amount of villas. Now in this particular scenario we're actually looking at holiday homes, which are not villas, they are holiday homes. They're 3.5 star, 4 star. Okay, if we go to the other end of the spectrum, 5-bedroom, 7-star villas, 50,000 a night. Change the mid-season price, and we can see here this price correlates to this price. Now I've looked at this, spent quite a while on this. I've consulted with various villa rental companies as well. These are basically, these 354 are properties that we know about that are either on our website or will be on our website soon, i.e. these apartments here, 75 to 25, those are currently not really on our website. Some of them are, but most of them aren't, and we get those via the Knightsbridge booking system. And the holiday homes, again, most of those are not on our website, and to be honest with you, we don't really focus on holiday homes at all other than at Christmas and New Year. The bulk of what we're interested in is the 5-star, 6-star and 7-star properties. Okay, so if we add up all the villas and how much they make in commission, we add up to 120 million rands, and that's this is what we're saying market share is in 2016. In fact, we're saying we don't actually know all the villas that are being booked, and there's probably 25% that we don't know about. And we add that here on the second tab. So it's about 150 million, which puts Cape Town luxury villas and Cape villas at only about 1% of market share. Lots of room to improve. And in particular, one should, if one's thinking of buying into Cape Town luxury villas or becoming part of Villas in Camp Bay, one of our 4 primary websites, one really shouldn't look at our other websites as competitors, because they're 1% of the market, whereas there's another 99% of the market. That's the market share we want to focus on. Okay, a little word about commissions. We've used 25%. Now, that might sound a lot to some, but certainly the leading villas company, the leading holiday homes company, and the leading apartments company all work on about 40%, i.e. they get a mandate of which they take 20%, and they affiliate market, that is to market it via other villa rental companies who specialize in the bookings, at another 20%. So from what the price one sees on the website, the owner only receives 60%, and that's well over half. However, at the other end of the spectrum, we've got Airbnb, and a lot of owners think they charge 3% commission, but they don't. They effectively charge about 10 to 12% because there's a service fee added. But Airbnb really isn't making a big difference at the top end of the market. However, if we average them all out, from Airbnb's 12% to, our own initiatives, which are 25%, and the initiatives of the top apartments and villa rental companies at about 40, a 25% average commission is perfectly acceptable. Right, let's go to 2020 market share. We've already seen we're adding 25% to our 2016 market share. This figure here, add 25%. However, we're also adding another 150%. This is split into 3 different sections. Number 1 is Experience Africa. Experience Africa is our flagship special project. Our aim is to create a safari system that the actual safaris use. And instead of them paying us a fee, they pay 12.5% of turnover towards the fight against poaching, protecting the rhinos, the elephants, and also protecting the wild dogs and the cheetahs and anyone else that is endangered. As a part of this system, we will want to create about 100 different tour operator websites that will be mostly run by charities, or more to the point, they'll be mostly owned by charities, run by the collective Experience Africa team, whereas half of all the money that gets generated in commission goes towards the fight against poaching. The other half goes towards marketing. Of these 100 or so tour operator websites, we're really going to be pushing the idea that we look at the safari plus a beach holiday such as Mauritius or Seychelles, Mozambique, plus a villa in Cape Town. We want to rebrand Cape Town as the villa capital of the Southern Hemisphere, and we want to rebrand Africa as the place to come on holiday for that top 1% of the 1%. When Experience Africa book a safari, those safaris are, if it was for 4 or 5 people, or even 10 people, up to $2,000 a night. Now that's the sort of money that one wouldn't sniff twice then about, if you're spending $2,000 per night and there's 10 of you, $20,000 per night. One's not going to sniff at going to Cape Town and paying $5,000 for a villa per night. It's just at the moment, there's a lot of people going on safari, paying an awful lot of money, but that money is not being seen in Cape Town villas because the safari companies that exist don't have great villa rental departments, and they worry that if they offer a villa holiday to a client, then that client may well try and find another villa for an agency, and they will find another villa. They will probably find a better villa, and they'll probably find a better price. So because of that, the safari companies are not promoting villas. Experience Africa is a fantastic initiative to raise money, but it also provides the opportunity to get a lot of bookings for the top villas on safari plus villa package holidays. Okay, Airbnb. So many in the villa industry. I remember speaking to a very learned gentleman from Bali about his villa rental companies, and he was saying a lot of companies were going down because of Airbnb in Asia. We haven't noticed this. Certainly our 2016 figures are more than our 2015 figures, and our 2015 figures are more than our 2014 figures, and our 2014 figures are bigger than any figures we've ever made from 2002 onwards in terms of profit, not turnover. But really, turnover is irrelevant compared to the profit. Anyway, not getting into that right here. What it's saying is by 2020, because of Airbnb, now what Airbnb are doing is they're making opportunities for a lot of individual owners and a lot of small individual property management companies, people who are just presenting 2 or 3 of their friends' videos on Airbnb, villas on Airbnb. And what's happening is that's making owners rent their villas short-term, not long-term. What's going to happen is they're going to find that they'll have a few bookings here and there, but nowhere near the amount of bookings that justifies renting it short-term versus long-term. But because the booking's already in place and they can't cancel them, these owners and these small property managers are going to be coming to us, and our competitors saying, can you make us bookings as well? And at that point, it's basically enabling a lot more villas into the marketplace. And we think with Airbnb, HomeAway, and various other companies doing this, making making the systems that make it possible for villas to be rented directly, that'll open the marketplace up. There'll be a lot more villas available. Okay, including another 50% that we would hope to expand the current marketplace by 2020 is from various Villa Secrets initiatives. Millions of them. For example, Villa Secrets Africa. Let's have a quick look. Here we can see it. We're presenting the top villas in Africa in a very glamorous way, mixing it with safaris and private islands, and creating villa holiday extravaganzas. Alongside working with international villa rental companies to put our villas onto their websites so as they can start promoting Cape Town over the Caribbean and other locations. The reason a lot of the international companies don't promote Cape Town is they simply don't have a good access to stock, and they worry if they suggest Cape Town to one of their client may look online, and most likely to look online and see, are there better villas available? Can I get that same villa at a cheaper price? And quite often it would be. We're creating systems for such companies so they don't have to worry about that. They'll have lots of good villas. And in general, to note that we're also creating the system so that all of the villas that we can get in a semi-exclusive or an exclusive way, and we're by 2020 looking at over 120. When inquiry comes in and one sends out a villa, I'm always worried to send out villas that are on all of my competitors' books and that are on Airbnb and that are on HomeAway, because you're not offering anything that can't be got elsewhere. And because of that, so we still offer the villas, but the returns are only one booking in 5 at the moment. Whereas in this system, in the future, as soon as one sends out a villa, it blocks it from all the others, all other opportunities. So as one can send out the villa with impunity, knowing that if the client likes that villa, they're going to book that villa for you because they can't book it anywhere else. These are sort of called proactive provisional bookings, and there's a system in place to make sure that no one overly does it. I.e., one has to make 1/8 of the amount of bookings that one makes in provisional. So if one makes R1 million in bookings, you can't have made more than 8 million rands of provisional offers. This single factor really makes sense of the Villa Secrets network, because we're talking, 15, 20 companies, many of which are really focused on getting mandates in the first place, and we've got a huge mandate initiative. So as companies like Cape Town Luxury Villas, Villas in Camps Bay, Cape Villas can send out villas to the inquiries without the worry that the villa can be booked through another source. Okay, 1 second. Let's have a sip of water. Okay, so here we go. In total, we would like the market share to increase to about 361 million rands in 2020. Now let's have a look at which companies work in one. And let's first start with the organogram. Here we see the Villa Secrets Cape Town, Africa organogram. The first part just focuses on the villa secrets itself. Then we have these 1, 2, 3, 4 agency websites. Cape Town Luxury Villas, already created, but needs a remake. Villas in Camps Bay, in the process of making. Cape Villas, again, been around since 2002, but needs a remake. And CapeLuxuryVillas.com, which needs to be created from scratch. These are the 4 primary villa rental companies that have the option to, well, don't have the option, that are required to advertise quite strongly in Google AdWords UK. Let's go back to the spreadsheet, and here we see them 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we go to the spreadsheet tab at the bottom, this is the spreadsheet from the 3rd year of the current version 5 business plan for these websites, or in particular for the Cape Town Luxury Villas website. And we can see here we have an income projected at 20 million rands. Sorry, a gross profit of 20 million rands, and that's a safe estimate. And we can see that figure here. If we compare that to the market share, we see 5.6% of market share. And we can see how it's made up. 74% is made from properties, mandated. 22% is made from bookings. Albeit, that's a little bit of an off stat, because there's a lot of bookings being made from the inquiries to the mandates, and those are all actually included within this 74%. But anyway, without the mandates, that 74% wouldn't be there. Same for villas in Camps Bay, same for Cape Villas, and pretty much the same for the Villa Secrets First real estate company. Now, when it gets to 2020, maybe, they're not all going to make 5.6%. This is a, this is a difficult projection to make accurately, but you can be pretty certain they'll be make it there. I mean, maybe Cape Town Luxury Villas do more like 7, villas in Camps Bay might do more like 5, maybe Cape Villas will, do more like 8, something like that. Okay, let's have a look at these ones in the light brown color. What this indicates is its new market share. Okay, Villa Secrets Africa, as we've seen, is focusing on Pan-African villa rental holidays, and where they will include a Cape Town stay. Well, they won't all include Cape Town stay, but I'd imagine at least half of them would. And that is, the way that would work is they would receive 15% of the commission for making the sale. And whoever owned the mandate, i.e. if the mandate was with Cape Town Luxury Villas, Cape Town Luxury Villas would have made 10%. So Villa Secrets Africa, all it's doing is, one, it's taking market share that's not currently, it's increasing the market share, because it's going out there, it's making adverts in Condé Nast Traveler, it's advertising on villas in Mauritius, it's advertising luxury villas in Africa, it's advertising every single place where you can rent a villa. Plus, it's the plan is that it would also advertise generically under the word luxury villas. So if you type in luxury villas, I think there's about 10,000 people do that. I don't know if it's a year or a month. I can't actually remember the stats, but there's a lot of people typing in luxury villas, and they'll come to Villa Secrets Africa, and they'll go, oh, okay, look, this looks like a nice option. I'll choose this option, Africa Safari, private island, and Cape Town Villa over, 2 weeks in St. Bart's. So it's proactively going out there, finding new market, and every time it rents a villa, one of our primary villa rental companies or mandate recruiting companies makes their money. Experience Africa, we've spoken about this briefly. I'd really be disappointed if we didn't have 100 different charity or non-charity run tour operators, and I'll be very disappointed if the charity run didn't get the $10,000 a month in Google advertising that is free. So you can imagine that 100 villas times 10,000 a month, that's 10,000, 100,000, that's $1 million a month in advertising. You know, $1 million a month in advertising for safaris, basically. But also from that advertising, they'll be making money from putting the villas in as well. I.e., I don't know, go to St. Gita, go to and Beyond, go to any of the big safaris, or even one of the more obscure safaris that is of quality. But no one wants to spend 2 weeks on safari. And if you're from America, which is our primary market, even though it isn't the most popular market, someone's going to fly in from America. They're not going to fly in for a safari for 3 or 4 days and then they're going to do America. They're going to do a safari. They might do 2 safaris. Private island in the Seychelles, Mauritius. Then come to Cape Town and stay in a villa. Stay in the villa, not a hotel. And this is where this 40 million rands has come from. Is it Experience Africa booking villas from those 100 websites and that $1 million a month in Google grant advertising. Okay. And of course, this 40 million here also includes about 30 million in bookings from the mandates for one of our mandate recruiting companies. They make 40 million, and by making that 40 million, they create another 30 million from the primary mandate owning company. Okay. Let's look at additional companies. Let's go back to the organogram. Here we go. We can see our 1, 2, 3, 4 primary companies. These will be made in 2017. Okay. 4 is the real estate company. It's an extension of the Cape Luxury Villas website. Here we go, 5 and 6. Looking first at number 5. Other franchises are created for non-English sites. We're already looking very strongly at capstad.com and villasecrets.de, villasecrets.fr. That's German, French, Italian. And we've got the German one on the go, and that will combine with germanyvillas.com, which is another part of it, Villa Secrets, and villasecrets.de. So by creating these foreign language sites, we really get to service the individual countries, and certainly we know that the people who speak German, be them German, Austrian, or Swiss, when they come over, they have a lot of money, and it's what we call big spender firepower. It's trying to find a niche. It's like it's the same as trying to match the Singita safaris with a Cape Town villa. It's trying to create a new market for the villas. Okay, so foreign language sites, luxury apartments, that's a big one. Architects company, luxury safari, and international villa rental company. So let's have a look at those on this spreadsheet. The architects company, if the architects company recruits 8 mandates, their gross profit would be about 10, so about 2% of the market share. International real estate company, we're just saying that's going to make about half the value that the primary real estate company is going to make. Most of that income, again, from mandates. Property developers, much the same as the architects, property developers who happen to have sold properties or own properties that are available for rent. Okay, safari specialists. Now, this is basically exactly the same idea as Experience Africa. But we use the current safari specialists, Rhino Africa, Yellow Zebra Safaris, Go to Africa, and Beyond, and there are many more. Currently, these companies don't have a good stock of villas in Cape Town, and they certainly don't have a good stock of villas in Cape Town that they can have in any degree of exclusivity or expect the best rates. we would make them a website and connect that website to their core systems so that they can present villa rental options to their safari clients on those multi-leg holidays that, as I've mentioned, most people don't come to Africa for 2 or 3 days to go to a safari. They'll, especially if they come from the USA, they're going to want to spend a week or 2 here. And we're saying, great, spend your time in Cape Town in a villa. And by working with those safaris, we should be able to generate quite a lot of extra income. That is if we have the time to make the websites. We at the moment takes us quite a while to make one of these websites. In the future, we should take about an hour. That's to make the framework. Then one has to put some stock on it. But anyway, let's not get too much into this. And let's move on to international villa rental companies. Exactly the same deal here. It's what we call big spender firepower. It's trying to attract people who weren't already coming to Cape Town and the top 1% of the 1%. People who stay in the Caribbean, people, Hawaii. There's probably about 100 locations that are 10 times more, where property costs 10 times more than Cape Town. And at the moment, the big safari companies, the big villa rental companies, the international ones, are not really presenting Cape Town as often. They're not going to do a newsletter to all of their previous clients saying, come to Cape Town. Because they don't have a good stock here and they don't have good rates, and they're just going to be presenting an idea to their clients. Their clients would mostly have a quick look themselves and see there's a lot more villas available on, for instance, our websites than there are on the international villa rental companies. So what we're saying is, we're going to be working with those international villa rental companies, not all of them, 3, maybe 4, and we're going to be providing them with a website, providing them with the connectivity to their own booking system, and giving them the same option that these our primary 4 companies have, which is the option to offer the villa and make it unavailable to anybody else during that offer, maybe 4, 5, maybe even a week-long period, where the only way the client can book the villa is to go to the company that offered the villa in the first place. Alternatively, if a client comes to their website and then asks for a particular villa, same deal. They just put that on provisional. It's not something that can be done simply right now. It's not a simple process, but it will be. Okay, Villa Secrets Apartments. That's a company that really specializes in apartments in the waterfront and other locations, plus other companies. Now this plus other companies is this here. Particular companies for the suburbs, i.e. Clifton, Bantry Bay, etc. Mergers, that's working with existing companies that don't have great websites that want to merge with us. For websites for directors and key staff, property managers and owners, and concierge companies. And we're saying this should equate to about 13% of market share. Okay, so let's just scroll down. So we have from Villa Secrets Africa, Experience Africa, the Safari Specialists, and the International Villa Rental Companies, 140 million rands of new business. This is people that wouldn't have otherwise come to Cape Town and booked a villa. Plus 175,000, and some of that is new business, and some of that is existing clientele coming. And note, of the current market share, we're not looking at over 50%. We generally have a rule. Well, we don't generally have a rule. We have a rule that one can't predict over 50% because of the law of diminishing returns, i.e. one's competitors will fight back and it'll become a big struggle. So, we're not looking to really take out anybody. We're just looking to make a few mergers here and there, and we just want to really improve the entire Cape Town villa rental scene for everybody. We did this in 2002, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with Cape Villas when we were the ones that came along and we had, the what was at the time the best villa website in the world. And we changed things, and we changed things again in 2009 when we brought out the Cape Villas magazine, distributed 30,000 of those with Condé Nast Traveller. We made villas. Villas that weren't available became available to us because they got our magazines and our press, and people that weren't thinking of coming to Cape Town came to Cape Town because of what we were doing internationally. This is an extension of that principle in a massive scale. It's not an attack on the current market share. It is creating new market share and taking a relatively good portion of existing market share. However, we are looking to increase the amount of villas available. I mean, if we go back to our 2016 market share and look at the amount of 6-star plus and 7-star villas, there's 17. Now, in Cape Town, there are over 100 villas that are of that quality. And so we're saying, let's try and get another 30 or 40 of those into the market, and let's try and get another, 100 of these into the market. And Airbnb will be helping us all the way because they're encouraging people to start renting as opposed to short-term renting as opposed to long-term renting. Okay. In closing, we just need to point out that this is a system that works for everybody that's within it. The more properties that come on board, the easier it is for the power companies, these four, and the new to make the bookings. And the more these guys make the bookings, the more easier it is to keep the mandates. Because it's one thing to get a mandate for a luxury property. It's another thing to keep it. We have seen, and we don't know the actual stats, but some of the top properties, we have seen them exchange property managers year on year, and just go from one company to another because there's not much of a market at that top end. We're looking to create that market big time. Okay, thank you. See you in another video. Bye.